All right, all right. We are back in the Belmar studio this morning. We have a very special guest. We have Regina from Bella Salon. Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm doing well.
You
Hope
bet.
You are too.
Bella Salon. My last name is Mirabella, so when I saw that come through right off the bat, I was already excited about this one. I am not in the salon business for anyone that wants to know. I am wingman, but it's great to have Regina on today. So you have an interesting story, and you come from with a world of background from learning about you over, before this interview. So kind of tell us, you've been in the business for 2 years now. And what did you do prior? Because I think that helps bring you to where you are today.
Yeah, thanks for that question. I actually started out years ago in the beauty industry. I've been a cosmetologist, licensed cosmetologist, I think for 18 years.
Oh, wow.
So I started out, my first job in the beauty industry was actually with Estee Lauder as like a makeup counter girl. So I went from working retail, not knowing really what I wanted to do with my life. I skipped a whole phase. I was a competitive swimmer, and I went to college, and I got a scholarship at a D1 school, and I hated it. I hated college.
Really?
Hated it.
Did you like the swimming aspect of it?
I think it was, it's fitting because the Olympics are on right now,
Yes.
But I watch them and I go, oh, I don't want to do that ever again.
Yeah.
It taught me a lot, but it definitely stresses you out.
Yep.
So,
Taught you what you didn't want to do.
yeah, it taught me what I didn't want to do. It was like too much competition. But I then just decided, like, I was creative. I've always been into beauty, so when I moved down to North Carolina with my high school boyfriend who was in the military, I didn't know what I was going to do. So I went to beauty school and accidentally discovered that I was really good at doing hair. So I just kind of went with it. I got a job at a small salon right out of beauty school and found a mentor. And she changed my life. She's still one of my best friends today. She taught me everything I knew, grew me up. And then I just got so into it, I became an educator. And then when I became an educator for Wella, which was a company I started with, I loved that so much that I started educating the educators, and I became a regional manager. And then I went on to lead teams and hire independent contractors. Wow. And then I moved companies, and then it brought me to my last role, which was at L'Oreal as the head of education for Redken, and bringing products to market. And then I kind of got sick of corporate and
wow, that's pretty cool.
Decided to follow my dream of being a business owner.
So now 2 years as a business owner with a lot of education behind you, and that's really great. I think that for a small business, not all small business owners have that educational background or invest and really believe in that education. It's more of just the daily grind and kind of, well, this is what the previous boss did, this is what my dad did, this is what my mom did. So they don't always believe in that educational aspect. And I think coming from a corporate background, you bring a different perspective to the table.
100%. I think most people do it the other way around. They go into the salon, they go corporate, and they stay corporate for the security, the paycheck, the benefits, the 401k, all of that stuff is very nice. The company car, great. And you're crazy sometimes to give it up. And I decided that wasn't.
So 2 years ago, you became crazy and you gave it all up.
Yeah. Well, I didn't give it up. I'll be honest. We had a restructure. Everybody's been through a corporate restructure. And they had, role elimination. So I got a nice severance, and I took my severance, and I said, you know what? I'm not going back to this. So that's when I started looking for a salon to purchase because I wanted to make my own way.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So now where is the salon?
The salon is in Manchester, New Jersey.
Manchester, New Jersey. So in between Tom's River and
Brick and Lakewood and that whole area. So we're actually right, not that far from the Joint Air Force Base there. And so, yeah.
So now this business was in business for what, 20 years?
I think it's exactly 20 years this year. Yeah.
And now when you came in, I'm sure there was some things you had to do from day one to change kind of how it was and where it is today. So kind of go into that a little bit.
Yes, without sounding weird, I bought a business that was mostly run on paper.
But it's a lot of small businesses. You're not unique, I don't think, to this one.
I think that it's. I was a little stunned coming from like the corporate world and having all of the technology
and
at my fingers.
And having reports and having key metrics and things like that.
And like iPads and connecting and streaming and presenting. And they were like, what do you mean you need like to present? What are we presenting here? I'm like, I need a TV that I can stream to. There was a lot of things like the computer systems. Nothing was really streamlined. There was still like a paper book that kept standing appointments, but it was very old school, but I needed to take it ahead. Otherwise, it was going to wind up being completely obsolete.
Yep.
So
now in these 2 years, you couldn't have taken on every project all at once. So kind of I'm assuming you prioritized, how to get done first and started to just block and tackle and get it done.
Yes, and often it started with creating emails for some of my employees who never even had a cell phone. Like it was such a massive, diverse employee base. Like there was, as I was telling you before, my youngest employee is 17 and my oldest is 80.
And how many employees do you have?
20.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
That's a nice size salon.
Yeah, it's a very nice size salon. I mean, there's definitely room for growth. That's where we're at. We're in a completely changing and growing period, but it's such an amazing experience to be under a roof with 4 generations of women where we're different point of views, like going from one who didn't have an email that I had to create for her to others who know how to run social media, and it's just like they were born with the phone in their hand.
Yep, sure.
So completely different.
So, and how do they all get along?
We're just a great tight-knit group of women.
That's
like
awesome.
they're the most fantastic team. I was blessed with, I got really lucky with
This
these.
sounds a lot like the Michelle Jones at Flower Bar interview.
I know. I watched that before I came here. It was a really good one.
She has a great team of women, and she has roughly 20 women running that flower bar, making those great
Yes.
bouquets.
Yeah.
So that's great, though. So now, where do you see the future of this? Because you're bringing education into an area where maybe education wasn't at the forefront of it, and you kind of bring in digital and social and all these aspects. How do you see that continuing to grow your business? And kind of what are some of the setbacks? Because I'm sure not everybody embraces technology at your shop. I mean, someone that's 80 years old, it's a different world than the 17-year-old. Yeah, I get that she is all about tech, but there's got to be some resistance you're feeling at your
Oh, yeah, that's an understatement. Resistance. It's challenging, but I've learned that there's a kind of a little bit of a balance of kind of letting them be who they are. I don't want to touch who they are. I mean, yes, there are some things they've had to learn, the older crowd, but I think that I've positioned it so the young ones always ask questions of the older ones. They have so much experience. They have techniques that they don't even teach in beauty school anymore. So there's resistance, but there's also cooperation. So I leave that generation to do what they're going to do. They're going to retire soon anyway. They're happy with what they're doing. And then I focus a lot on my younger generation. So we have a 20-week assistant apprentice program that's starting next week that I've written the entire curriculum for and used my background in education. So we're going to go through a 20-week training program, and hopefully it's successful and I can recycle that and just keep cycling in young talent, growing them, keeping them, and then I want them to leave me. I don't want them to stay and be stagnant. If they want to be business owners, I want to support that. So
sure. And
technology is necessary for that.
You had a mentor that helped you along the way so you're going to you're looking to pay it forward a little bit, it sounds like, to these young women and teach them the way. And I think that in the service industry in general, like we were discussing off camera before, I think that there's a resurgence of the service industry in general. I feel like more and more people are putting effort into the service industry, and they're hard skills. Like people have to learn these skills. It's different. Again, I come from a corporate background myself. I worked for a Fortune 10 company. I worked for a Fortune 500 company, and then I decided I could do it better, and I went out on my own and 15 years ago created Wingman.
Right.
It's a different world. Every Friday the check was there versus now every Friday you
hold your breath.
And I also have 20 employees, so I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't change it for the world. I couldn't even imagine going back into a corporate setting. Again, there's so many days. Like I was at before you, I was at a person had an IT issue at 8:30 this morning. Now I'm going to do a podcast, and then I'm going to go have meetings for the rest of the day. So I couldn't even imagine what I can do in a day at corporate. It would probably take me a week to do that.
Right.
But
yeah.
But so again, I get that. So I think that it's awesome that you're giving these women an opportunity, and you're getting them to believe in themselves. And I'm sure that there's some level of in this training, there's hard skill training, but there's also that soft skill, that customer service training, and how to greet and how to attend to people, especially in your line of work. I mean, again, people are keyboard warriors when they get a meal that was cold. I can't even imagine if one hair's out of place.
No, and honestly, we're very blessed with the reviews on Google. I will tell you, we are blessed. We don't have a lot of that going on, but every business does experience that. But I think service industry, 100%, there are more people in Votech right now than there have been in decades. They have waiting lists. And it means that there's about to be a lot of HVAC operators, a lot of cosmetologists, a lot of those hard skills you need to learn. But the beauty of the service industry is you don't have to just be a technician. You could do what I did. You can go into corporate without a college degree, and you have those skills because you have people skills. You're constantly working with people. You're learning, what makes them tick. You get a sense of the world, and you can take it wherever you want. You want to stay behind the chair? Good. You want to go corporate? Good. You want to go to corporate and come back? Good. That's what I did.
Yeah, sure.
So I think in the service industry we're like sometimes underrepresented, and when it comes to marketing, I look a lot of like doctors' offices and daycares and all of these things. But a lot of salons are really gritty too. Like we have a lot of really good career paths, and this is an amazing space to have.
That's
a career.
great, though. I think more people need to know that, like that it's not just if you didn't know what you wanted to do, you become a hairdresser.
Right. Beauty school dropout.
Beauty school dropout would be the word we use there. But I mean, there's so much more to it, and there's so many avenues. And I think that you opening up this kind of opportunity to teach these young women, I think is awesome for you. It sounds like you got a lot. Like that's a great way to kind of pay it forward from you having a mentor and going through it. And again, coming out of a D1 school, being in a competitive world, to getting your degree in that, and then moving on to corporate, and then coming back. I mean, it kind of full circle there, right?
Right. Well, I actually should mention I never did get my college degree, so I could not do the college thing. I dropped out, so I'm definitely a dropout in that aspect. But the mentor piece of it too is like my goal is to pay it forward for sure. My mission is to inspire more people to join this industry.
Yep, that's great.
That's more people. If I make that goal, then that I've lived my mission.
And now, what's the plan on? Are you going to look to get a second salon, or do you have room to grow within your current salon? I've never been in the salon, so I don't know how big it is. But 20 chairs seems like a pretty big place, because where I just get a buzz cut. There's like 7 chairs there. So
like a barbershop.
Yeah,
which
so
is awesome.
20 chairs seems.
It's actually 13 chairs,
okay.
But I have 2 nail technicians. But my goal is grow the young ones, obviously, teach new skills to the ones that have been there for so long that kind of got like lost along the way. They didn't receive a lot of education, so now they're learning their skills. But my goal, I really just want to buy my own bricks. Like I have my eyes set on like not paying rent forever. I do want to grow into a couple of locations, possibly. I would love to grow someone with inside my business to take over one, or
I think that you have a great opportunity in that. Like you could be like, as you continue to grow, you kind of could set somebody up in a second location.
Would love that.
And be a partner, or be a silent partner, or help them get rolling, and then do that again and again. Like I feel like your trajectory, as time goes on, you become the almost like a venture capital or a private equity of the hair salon, because you have all this talent coming up. Some of them are going to want to stay there because they have a good job. They have their clients. They have no real responsibilities outside of the 9-to-5 day or whatever the hair cutting day is. But there's going to be other women that come up and see your story and want to emulate that.
I would hope that that's the case, because I was inspired by one person, and I just want to keep that going. Like it's just the way of the industry.
I feel like in 2 or 3 years you're going to be back here and you're like, I have 5 salons and I've mentored 10 girls and I have 5 in the works coming up too.
Your lips to God's ears. I hope that that's the case, because I do want to grow.
You're going to be back in a
I want to do something
office.
different.
You're going to be back in the corporate office of your business at Bella's Salon Corporate, and you're going to be looking at Excel spreadsheets to look at the numbers on everybody.
Hopefully I'll have hired someone to look
exactly.
at the spreadsheets.
So what are some of the challenges? So we talked about all like the cool stuff that you have planned, but along the way, there's some challenges. You get punched in the gut along the way. So
Every
kind
day.
of explain some of that to us.
So I think that, I tend to be the type of person that just jumps in head first with not being prepared for pretty much anything. So I take it on and I fail really fast. And I think I do that every day, so that's always a struggle. But the renovations are one thing, that it's like contractors and organizing everything. And knowing that I bought a 20-year-old space, it looks 20 years old. Okay. So what we want to produce, we're not looking like it inside. So we're hyper-focused on that, and the challenge of getting it to be unreasonable hospitality. I don't know if you know that book. I don't know if you've ever read it, but I live by that. Okay. So I'm working on making it so unreasonably in my salon, that's a challenge because we are so stuck in like our everyday ways. So changing the way people view the customer service aspect of things, making it an experience, not just a check in, get your hair cut, go on your way, but really making it set apart from everybody else. So
I love that.
Offering something for everybody too. And the biggest challenge for me right now is my goal is diversity. I have 3 young Mexican American employees who do diverse type of work. One wants to get into African hair braiding, texture, curls, all of the things that are not represented especially in Manchester. People are traveling all the way outside to get that done 2 hours away. So for me, my focus and challenge is actually growing people in a space where I'm not an expert, and finding connections for them to be able to grow and learn in a space to bring something different to an area that may not always accept it. So we're fighting, stereotypes, we're fighting age groups, we're fighting all of this stuff, and we have a lot of adversity. So that is the challenge every day. That and the cosmetic stuff, the air conditioning unit on the roof, the repairs, you got to call the plumber, this goes out, and you're wearing so many hats. So for me, it's like learning how to be each one of those hats, and then giving it to people who are better.
You got to delegate.
Better at it than I am, and I have to know that I cannot run everything. So that is a big challenge.
That's one of my hardest challenges. Is the delegation. I like to be in the middle of it. I like to know what's going on. I like to make sure. You heard us talking about a social media post.
Right.
But I have such a passion for my business that I don't want to see something go the way that I don't want it. But on the other side is you have to let the reins go. And, again, over the years and, from my own experience, about 3 years ago, we brought on this guy, Dave, that, kind of took over account management. And he works with the account managers as well as handles all the back end pricing and all the, and looking to make sure that it's, it's good business that we're pushing out. So, that was one step, 3 years ago we made was to, bring this guy, Dave, and he comes from a Wall Street background, and he, his very kind of eye on on the details, and I think that was one thing that like loosened up in my day, and jobs, print jobs got done faster, and pricing went out faster to our account representatives to make sure that, again, you want everybody to be at their best, but if you don't give them the tools, they can't be at their best. So one piece of advice I would give to you as you continue to grow is find those people that can help you and delegate a task. Learn the task, know how the task is done, but then pass it off. Like the other day we have somebody that needs a quick job, and it was 8 o'clock at night when the job came in, and so I went into the system to order the job, and I was like, wow, I haven't been in here in months.
Right.
I said, and I don't miss it. So,
no.
Long and short of it is, and as we continue to grow at Wingman, my goal is to find people that can take on those tasks so that we can be better at. So I can
and it's
better
empowering.
At those kind
it's
of
empowering
things.
your own staff. For me, I firmly believe that we run a very democratic business. Like each one of them is a stakeholder.
That's great.
And because they have their own business within my business, but I think empowering. I do have an incredible team. Our salon manager Diana is like my right hand. I don't think I would have made it.
Did she come in the acquisition, or did you pick her up along the way?
No, she came with it, and she's the most loyal, most amazing. And then
That's
I have
good.
an
Shout
incredible
out to
team.
Diana.
Yes, Diana and Amanda and Stephanie. I have a lead team we meet with, and we do round tables every Friday.
Oh, cool.
And we do just stand up, say what you need to say, and if it can't get said in 10 minutes, it's not worth talking about right now. And that's how we get stuff done.
Wow.
So I need
cool
them
idea.
all to be empowered to know that they're stakeholders and they are as much a part of this business. And I'm not smart. I'm not dumb enough to think that I can do everything by myself. I know that I need them.
At least you know that, because there's many business owners that don't feel that way, and that's what gets them stuck in the mud, and that's what gets them to a point. Again, you get to a point where you can grow, and then you get to a level period, and then you have to invest and grow more, or you need to do something different to get to that next level. But I think after the second or third level, people start tapping out because they don't continue to think with that mindset. Yeah. And I think that you're doing something unique and different. I think that's great.
Thank you so much. And I'm just incredibly proud of what they've all accomplished. Actually, I do have to shout out Nancy and Gloria, both retiring, and Gloria worked with us for 20 years. So she was the OG employee.
Wow.
She
Congrats.
just retired, and Nancy's about to retire. And she's been there, I think, 12 years. So
wow.
there's been a lot of longevity.
That's
I'm
awesome.
Really proud to work with these women. And a lot of them were previous business owners. They owned their own salons. So
Sure.
It's like they understand.
They understand really nice, the good and the bad of it all.
Yes, absolutely.
So I love what you're doing. So I can't wait to hear about future success and what's next for you. So kind of as we kind of wrap up, let people know where they can find you, how they can find you online or at the salon or the phone, just so that people can reach out to you.
Great, thanks. You can find us at www.bellasalon-manchester.com, or you
That's
can...
a long URL.
Yes, it is. But there's 1,000 million Bella salons in America.
Yeah, okay, fair.
And then we have Bella Salon _08759 on Instagram.
That's the zip code in Manchester for those that didn't realize.
So we're heavy on Instagram, mostly focused on our website and Google, my business.
Awesome. And then
So.
how many Google reviews do you have?
I think we're close on 300, but not all of our. We kind of get reviews by text message. We have thousands of reviews that don't make it onto Google, but I think we're around 300 5-star reviews right now.
It's interesting how Google plays that game.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you have one, it disappears.
Yeah, no, but we're proud of our Google presence. Like
300?
we have 300 5-star reviews, I think. And
That's great.
Some of them are older, some of them are newer, so it's, it is what it is.
All right, so I look forward to hearing continued success. Thank you for coming on this morning, and thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure and a